Not sure how much time I have left. Well, I think I'll read something a little bit more cheerful. Let's see. Um, I have 25 minutes, thank you. Okay. Well, this piece is dedicated to this wonderful contraption that was invented about 30 years ago, and it changed the way Asians communicate to each other. And can anyone guess what it is? Huh? The karaoke machine. And it's called Singing in the Family. And I actually originally wrote this for NPR, All Things Considered. And they say it's wonderful, but you have to sing it. And so I have the distinct pleasure to say that I am the only commentator on NPR who ever sang a cappella on All Things Considered. On the recent occasion of my uncle's 60th birthday, my mother's clan gathered from all over the country to celebrate at my brother's home in Fremont, California. Instead of gifts, however, my uncle, the youngest of 7 siblings, had an unusual wish. Everyone was asked to pick and sing a song on the karaoke machine. What began as an amusing exercise in merriment turned quickly into something I can only describe as our first and only session in family group therapy. When it comes to matter close to the heart, my family, like so many others from Vietnam, is notoriously inexpressive. Something within our taciturn culture discourages verbal intimacy. Immigrants and refugees from Vietnam, we rarely ever communicate to one another what we really feel. Our love and resentment are all hidden. Our losses and sorrows often digested differently and alone. My uncle, who was going through a painful divorce, had not been able to convey to the family his profound sadness. He was still in love with his wife, but he was traumatized by memories of the war in which he took part as a pilot, and prone to bouts of rage and mania and ranting where she had had it with him. He masked this with jokes and once said, while drunk, Vietnamese men don't cry outward, or tears flow inward back into the heart. But at the birthday bash, we all discovered that what we could not talk about, some of us could at least sing out loud. Thus, the cousin whose wife had filed for divorce sang Tom Jones' Delilah with a heartbreaking voice. And we managed to tell him that we were sorry for his troubles by singing along with every refrain. My, Delilah, why, Delilah? Another aunt, not particularly well-liked for her condescending attitudes over the years, but who now was in declining health, took the mic to sing rather breathlessly, Somewhere My Love, the theme song from the 1960 film Dr. Zhivago, dedicating it to the rest of us. Till then, my sweet, think of me now and then. She sang in a hoarse whisper and out of tune. Godspeed, my love, till you are mine again. A few of us cried quiet tears as we listened to that thin and frail woman sing gamely on. Her life had not been easy, for she too was abandoned by her husband when her children were young. After a few more singers, it was my uncle's turn. He chose a well-known Vietnamese song titled, Come What May, I Will Always Love You. His is a beautiful voice, but halfway through, as he looked at his 3 grown children staring back at him, he choked. Another aunt, his closest sister and confidant, quickly grabbed his mic, put her hand on his shoulder, and finished the song. Meanwhile, my uncle's tears were flowing outward, finally, in front of his entire clan. That afternoon, I watched and listened in amazement as my relatives laid bare their hearts before me. It was as if in poetry we could finally converse about what in prose, in conversation, we couldn't. Words when sung or turned poetic become somehow acceptable or even welcome in our uncommunicative culture. As I witnessed their sadness, memories of moments with my own immediate family rushed up before me. I saw again how timidly my father tried to hold my mother's hand in front of us one evening, and how she, embarrassed, pulled her hand from his grasp and failed to see the subsequent hurt look on his face. In the 50-odd years that they've been married, my parents, to my knowledge, have hugged twice in public and held hands on one or two rare occasions while they watch TV or stroll the streets near their home in Milpitas, California, after dinner. This practice repression is as old as the history of Vietnam. If you love, show the cane is an age-old adage on how one should raise one's children. I saw too my long-dead paternal grandmother late one night tiptoeing into the living room to put an envelope between the pages of my older brother's math book while we were still newcomers living in a crowded apartment on Mission Street in Daly City. He had been trying to save enough money to buy a used car so he could drive to college. On the envelope in which she put half of her Social Security, she wrote succinctly, "Nội cho con," for my grandson. And I saw myself studying that evening long ago, a few years after college, unable to form Vietnamese words when my mother asked, "What's wrong?" Everything was wrong. I had wanted to tell her the love of my life had left and I was bleeding inside. But that was not our way, and my Vietnamese is unruly, refusing to give lyrics to the murmurs and pangs of the heart. All I managed to say was, "Nothing, Mom, I'm just tired." I recall too that first time when I won a journalism award and my father tried and failed to say something in Vietnamese. Finally, he said it in English. "I'm proud of you." Then a quick pat on my shoulder. I was stunned. "Thanks, Dad," I said, and looked over to my older brother, whose face was an expression of astonishment. He said it to the wrong son, and inwardly I was thanking myself for refusing to let fulfilling my father's expectations of failing them be my goal and foibles in life. For if emotional restraint and proper displays of outward behavior are still considered the utmost beauty in some Confucian mindsets, muted endurance is still considered a virtue. These ideals, when practiced blindly, fail many of us now who live in the complex modern world called the West. Show, don't tell is millennial-old ethos. But despite my mother's subtle way of saying "I love you" in the impeccable sweet and sour catfish soup she serves whenever I visit, the lack of the verbal communication leaves me wanting. And was it not why my lover left me? Don't leave, I love you. A radio commentator and a writer, I am a traitor now to the old ways. For my medium is the written word, and my playground is the public forum onto which my private passions spill. The written words are now my songs. Yet if I manage to say so much in public, I too have failed to say the things I wanted to say to the people I love the most, things that need saying. The old ways in familial settings remain overpowering, and the tongue refuses to bend so that the words prepared in reveries are never by me spoken. So, what song did I sing at my uncle's birthday party? I sang many songs about broken hearts, about lost innocence. But the one I dedicated to my entire clan was Carole King's "You've Got a Friend." You know the lyrics. When you're down in trouble and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there. It's corny, I know. But it's the only tune I know how to carry well, and whose lyrics I have memorized. And it approximated the sentiment I felt. So in front of my family, I too sang my heart out. Thank you.